There's lots of talent here. There's lots of there's well-funded government programs. There's private money. I think we have a lot of assets. We just have to realize that the status quo isn't an option anymore. The CRTC is the regulatory agency that supervises obligations under the Broadcasting Act, the Telecommunications Act, the anti-spam legislation, a few other things.
So what is the biggest hurdle that you face at the CRTC right now?
It is the pace of technological change combined with how people interact with it, because it's not just technology that's driving, it's how people are exploiting that content.
So how nimble are, say, traditional Canadian broadcasters to kind of adapt with this change?
Well, they've always had to face change, right? When you live so closely to the US, which is a huge exporter of great content, you always have to be a little bit nimble. The Canadian system has always leveraged, in fact, the presence of Americans in the system. I mean, on the English television side, for instance, for years, we were using the popularity of American programming to bring Canadians to discover Canadian-made content. I've always described myself as a promotionist rather than a protectionist because I want Canadians to discover Canadian content.
So looking at these people that are consuming content differently, so millennials, they basically get their content anywhere at any time. They just change their IP address. So why should regulations and traditional broadcasters matter to them?
Well, the CRTC's never been about forcing people to watch anything. We want to make sure that they have the choices to do so. So yes, it's true that they're watching on different platforms, but you'd be surprised sometimes they actually are discovering and finding, even on those new platforms, content made by Canadians here at home that create jobs, and maybe they even want to go into the industry. So it's important to have an economic activity around video content. From our numbers, traditional television is not necessarily disappearing overnight. There's still, on average, 24 to 26 hours of traditional television being watched per week. And on top of that, people have stacked on video on-demand services and YouTube and all kinds of other content. So it's a rich array. It's in fact the age of abundance, as I keep saying. It's good, and people will find the content that means something to them.
How do you make it possible to make it beneficial to Canadians? So, you know, we are keeping the jobs here. We are seeing the content from providers from Canada.
Right. One of the questions we get the most on Twitter, or we comment on, is people saying, oh, there's the CRTC preventing us from getting this content on Netflix or so. And
is that because they just don't understand,
they don't understand
the role?
So every time we see that, we say, no, that's not us. We're not involved in that. Those are rights rules that describe how content's distributed in the marketplace. That being said, though, we appreciate that there's a new generation that haven't grown up with as strict of a perception on content and who owns it and who doesn't, and how you get to it and you pay and you don't pay. So what we do, though, is make sure that it's, and one of the initiatives out of the decisions we brought out in March was, let's work even harder on promotion and discoverability, because if they find it and it's good, they will keep looking at it, and that brings money, and there's a virtuous circle that comes from that. We have great actors, great directors, great talent of all sorts. We have, as I said, some good solid funding in the system. We have people that are still watching it. People still love local news, local information, sport. They've got favorite stars. We do high quality stuff. So I think by then we will be well on the way of embracing the new reality, although by then the reality will have changed because technology moves so quickly. People have realized that the world is changing, and they're up for the task. They've rolled up their sleeves and they're going at it, and we'll find, and it won't be one answer for everybody. Everybody will find a way to adapt their business, their productions, their projects to what they see as an opportunity, and that's good for all of us.